Welcome to Assault, Learn and Play, Part 5, Chapter 8, Special Actions. Chapter 8, Special Actions, describes some special things players can do during their game. For example, players can perform a pass. If an active player cannot activate any more units or simply wishes not to, he can pass. If there are 3 consecutive passes between the 2 players, the current turn is ended and the new turn starts. Passing is a free action. If you play with the command points, you do not have to activate something. Then you have several situations with reaction fire. So both players have the option to do a reaction fire in response to the opponent doing various types of movements during the action phase. There is no reaction fire in the support phase. The followings are triggered during the action phase. So you can do reaction fire, you must not. So if your opponent moves with a unit in front of your unit, you can trigger a reaction fire with one of non-activated unit. You can of course make reaction fire on fast move actions, on move and fire, fire move, on emergency disembarks, fallbacks or detachments. So reaction fire is only allowed by a single unit that has not been activated. Exception: indirect fire spotting and ORS, so off-board artillery fire spotting, described in the special chapters. Each hex the moving unit enters can create reaction fire. The reaction fire is moving. So each hex, the exception is movement into a close combat, of course. The unit firing must be able to target the unit moving. Reaction fire is conducted using all the applicable rules in Chapter 10. A firing status marker is placed on the unit doing the reaction fire. And of course, a reaction fire, if you play with the command points, you have to activate your unit with a command point. And of course, you can use command cards if you play with them. Just to show, I want to prepare some showcases. So a typical situation for reaction fire could be that in that situation these German rifle squad are still firing on some enemies and are busy with it, and the US player wants to activate these rifles with a fast action to storm the position of these rifles. So now he activates and moves up 1 and wants to jump into the close combat here, but the German player interrupts and says, hey, my machine gun starts reaction fire on your rifles. So each time your unit moves into 1 hex, this could trigger reaction fire. In that case, the German player says, my machine gun starts reaction fire. Okay, so if reaction fire is done, probably this unit is in good order, still in good order, and goes into close combat, or this unit has beaten back by reaction fire and goes into a fallback. It is forced to fall back, and then of course this unit has to be moved away from the enemy, and the best way is going back into the house. And this fallback can even activate again a unit to provide reaction fire, and the German unit here below decides, oh, I want to start reaction fire on that fallback unit because it has a malus because of the fallback, and starts again. So for reaction fire could be triggered every time if a unit moves into 1 new hex. Different situation for reaction fire. I have my German Panzer 3J here beside the corner of a hillside, and I can decide to make a move and fire here to move forward and fire at this anti-tank gun. I want to move 1 in here, and now the US player can say, oh, it is getting hot, I start reaction fire firing on here. So it is a typical situation for doing reaction fire. If reaction fire is done, nothing happened to the Panzer III can do his firing action to this anti-tank gun. Also, a special action could be the play of a command card. For both players, the active and the non-active. So the active is the player who is in charge to do something. The non-active player is the opponent player, waits for his chance to do an activation. So every of this player can play a command card, of course, depending on the trigger of the command card. Just take a look to the command card itself if there's a trigger when to play. And playing a command card is a free action, and you can play up to one command card in response to a unit's activation. Another special action is, of course, after a reaction by the inactive player. For example, he makes a reaction fire. Again, the active player continues with his move or retreat, or what he's able to do with his unit. That's so far for the special action. Go to the next part.